Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the newly named Bullring. I'm your host, Derek Diesner, and over the next 30 minutes, we'll recap this past week in AWC Matador Athletics. During this half-hour program, I'll sit down with head football coach Tom Minnick, as well as head women's and men's soccer coach Kenny Dale, and head volleyball coach Jason Smith. So stay tuned. We've got a lot coming up for you. You're tuned in to the Bullring right here on AWC TV, channel 74. Welcome back, everyone, into the Bullring. I'm your host, Derek Diesner, and I'm now joined by head football coach of your AWC Matadors, Tom Minnick. Coach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
It was a fantastic game this past Saturday as you guys hosted Eastern Arizona. How proud were you of your squad and how they really just responded after a tough loss the previous week?
Well, you know, it's a rivalry game, and they were we talked about that all week. You know, it's like Michigan, Notre Dame, and Oregon State, you know, the rivalry aspect of it, and East against West here, and they responded really well, you know, especially coming off that loss and getting upset. Everybody was kind of down all week, and nerves were kind of at, you know, right at the end there, and people were getting after each other a little bit, and then had to calm them down a little bit, and don't blame anybody, you know, blame yourselves. You guys are the one lost. You guys were out there playing. And they kind of figured it out toward the end of the week, and had couple good practices at the end of the week, and actually came out and really performed well on Saturday night.
Now, Coach, this is the first time that we've been able to catch up with you. Your team is 2-1 this season. Let's go back a few weeks. You open up the season at home against Pima and get a large win. What were your thoughts after that game on what you saw from your squad?
Well, we didn't play really well, you know, just at first game, and there's always some jitters, and having a brand new squad and only one returner on each side of the ball. You know, we played halfway decent, but not great, you know, and same thing happened, you know, the second game with Scottsdale. Played okay, and then kind of ended up getting hit at the end there with a couple touchdowns late, you know, from Scottsdale, and just some mistakes. With a young team, you're going to have some mistakes, but this team's very talented, and you know, we showed up to play last week, and hopefully we're over that you know, being young part of the team, and hopefully they can realize and build on this in the next couple of weeks and get some wins going into the last stretch of you know, the games here.
In that Scottsdale game, you touched on how a lot of their scores came late in that fourth quarter. What changes did your team need to make going into this previous game against Eastern Arizona?
Just limit the mistakes, and you know, we talked about doing the little things right and the big things will happen. You know, we did some little things right this past weekend, and then it showed because we got some touchdowns and you know, got some stops against Eastern, whereas you know, against Scottsdale we didn't do the little things, and it hurt us, you know, in the long run. So like I said, everybody's on edge. The good thing about this new playoff system, you know, we might get Scottsdale again, and that's what the kids are looking forward to, and I think that's in the back of their minds that you know, any competitor wants that. And then the good thing about the league this year, like I said, with the playoff system, you might get another chance to get them. So we're hoping to get that.
Defensively speaking, these last 2 weeks have been polar opposite. You saw Scottsdale, a heavy passing attack. This past week against Eastern Arizona, they like to run with the option. How tough is it to game plan week to week when it's that big of a difference?
It is tough because there's a brand new playbook this week, you know, for Eastern. We put a brand new defense in every time we play Eastern, so it is tough. And then coming from one extreme where basically no huddle and throwing the ball up and down the field, and you know, rotating kids in left and right because of the fact that you know, the kids are tired and stuff like that. It's tough, and it's from one extreme to another one. It is tough, but the kids handle it pretty well. Like I said, we were in it all the way to the end of the game, and kind of gave up them last touchdowns.
Now it seems like your run defense is pretty much unstoppable. They looked great this past weekend against a heavy rushing team in Eastern Arizona, but passing-wise, that seemed to be the weakness right now for your football team. How do you kind of improve that secondary this week going into your game against Phoenix College?
Well, you got to get some pressure on the quarterback, and that helps the defensive backs out. And it's kind of misleading a little bit. Scottsdale was able to run on us a little bit there at the end with with the zone there, and did a good job with it, and mixing it up against us. That kind of hurt. So you get up the field, pass rushing the quarterback, and all of a sudden they're giving a draw or whatever underneath, and it goes for big yards. So we got to make sure next time we handle that, and against the teams coming up, there's some teams in our league right now, pass just like Scottsdale. So we got to make sure we're getting a good pass rush and doing assignment football and doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Now let's talk offense. You started this season with James Morrow as your starting quarterback. You switched it up this past week going with Tyler Rogers. What did you think of his start, and what will we see going forward?
He had a pretty good start. Coming in his first college football game, did really well. He made a couple mistakes, just like James has done in the beginning, but he's doing a good job. You got to get more confident and reading the defenses and stuff like that. But he gives an aspect where, just like Tanner did last year with his feet, and he can get himself out of trouble because of his feet, and that's what we're looking for, especially when our offense is trying, offensive line kind of coming together and trying to get them together where we're a power type team, and we got to get them together on one note to get after people. And right now they're not doing it right now. So the best option for us is have a quarterback that can move with his feet.
Now last season, I know you had a very pass-happy offense, and we're kind of limited running-wise. This year, you've shown a lot of different running backs. Just looking at the list, Brent Calloway, Brandon Gaynor, Marcus Horn, Shane Ward, who really emerged this past week, Ian Bass, and Ramon Alton. How impressed are you with all the running backs you have on this roster?
Well, they're all pretty good. We just week to week. I think how we're planning a week to week is having different personnel groups, different kids that can do different things well. And I think it worked this week with what we had in there, and we'll probably continue to do that. And certain ones will get more playing time than other ones, depending on what personnel groups they're in. And we did the same thing with the receivers this week too. So, what it does, it helps with competition. Competition's only gonna make you better, and they know they got competition now, and then just not one kid's gonna play.
Final question before we let you go, Coach. Can you give us a little bit of a preview for this upcoming game against Phoenix College?
Well, it was gonna be mentor against student here until he got let go here right before the season, and Jeremy Richardson, the new head coach that was supposed to be there, is not there anymore, and kind of disappointed in that situation, and I guess it is what it is, but we're looking forward to playing Phoenix.
All right, well, thanks so much for your time, Coach, and good luck this week against Phoenix College. All right, it's time for us to take a break, but when we come back, I'll sit down with head men's and women's soccer coach Kenny Dale. You're tuned in to the Bullring right here on AWC TV. Welcome back, everyone, into the Bullring. I'm your host, Derek Diesner. We've already heard from head football coach Tom Minnick, so let's hear about how soccer is going here at AWC. And with more on that, we bring in head coach of both the men's and women's soccer team here at Arizona Western College, Kenny Dale. Kenny, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you. Good to be here, Derek.
It's great to have you, and a brand new program on campus with women's soccer, and boy, are they off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, we've had a great run this early part of the season. A couple of miracles and a few that were kind of expected, but a really exciting start after our first loss at Phoenix College. We lost 2-1 in our opener on the road, which was difficult, but I don't think the players got down about it too much, and so we've won 4 straight since then.
Now you talk about your opener on the road, but really your opener was supposed to be right here on this field.
Actually it was. We were rained out against Scottsdale in our home, what was supposed to be our home opener, August 22nd. We were rained out, but we rebounded okay. We just went to Phoenix and played as hard as we could, but not quite hard enough.
Now will that game be made up?
possibly. They're looking at some dates right now in the future, so it may or may not be. We're still deciding that.
Okay, now an exciting weekend for your squad. The women won in overtime just this past Saturday. That had to be a fun match.
It was great for the girls. It was fortunate that we won it. I think our bonds haven't really been tested yet because we're winning so much on the women's side. So we were able to go to Chandler Gilbert. We scored an early goal. We were up 1-0 for most of the match. In the last 10 minutes or so, they tied it up. But they really held the balance of pressure for the match. So in overtime, I think that they thought we would just go away or crumple or something. But our girls actually played better in the first segment of overtime than they did in the second half of the game. So I was really pleased, and we got through on a breakaway, and Paula Espino fed one to Greta Espinoza, and it just the keeper came out, and it just rolled into basically an empty net. It was great.
Now your squad's 4-1 right now. However, none of those games count for conference because you're not in the conference yet this season. So how do you get these girls energized and ready to play every week, knowing they can't really win a conference title?
Well, we're not in the competition for the conference title, but we get to play in the region tournament, so we're automatically in the playoffs. Assuming we do well enough. We have to be above 500, obviously, but so I think they're excited either way. You know, when you pull on the jersey and the shoes, it doesn't really matter what the result is, especially at this age.
Right. They
play for fun and the love of the game, and so they're excited every time anyway.
A busy week ahead for your squad. South Mountain on today,
yeah.
And then Paradise Valley Thursday, and then Pima on Saturday. Now one of those matches is here at home. That's Thursday. Talk about the tough week ahead for your squad.
Well, it's tough. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 3 games in a week is very, very challenging physically because our practices are kind of limited. Every practice this week is the day before or the day after a game, and Wednesday and Friday will be both, the day before and the day after a game. So we can walk through some things. So it's a lot about competition and preparing for opponents tactically without really doing too much physically. Okay. We're lucky that one of those games is here, so we don't have to travel 3 games in a row. But in the late season, it all comes back. You know, we'll be home later in the season, so it's going to be a challenging week for sure. And then next week, our men play Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday because there's a makeup game on Tuesday.
Okay, now let's talk about the men's soccer team. Perfect lead-in, I must say. 2-1 this season. Your overall thoughts on how they've gotten started?
We've had a couple of rough goes. We lost at Phoenix 4-3 in a pretty tight game. We had a decent result against Glendale. We're still sorting a bunch of things out. We have a lot of new players in the lineup. Despite our 14 returners, we have some new players at the back, so that's been a little bit challenging, mostly just in terms of the communication. The skill is there and the tactical ability is there. It's just a matter of getting a little bit better communication. Right. We've had a few games where we've made 1 or 2 mistakes and the other team has capitalized, and we've held the balance of play. You know, we've had the better of the play. We just haven't been able to get results in a couple of cases.
Now, in the last home match that we saw you guys here, it ended in a tie, and really just a hard-fought match by both teams. What did you think of your team's performance that night?
Our men played really, really hard that night. Glendale's a physical team, and we tried to make some good tactical choices. Unfortunately, we had a turnover in our end, and they just brought it right to the goal. So, you know, again, it's our mistakes that are really haunting us. And at the front end, our inability to finish. We create 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 goal-scoring chances, and we get 2. Okay. So we need to improve our finishing. We're going to work on that in training for sure. And we need to just make better decisions with the ball at the back, because a lot of these teams really capitalize on your mistakes. That's right. Their whole MO, you know, is to just play until you make a mistake and then capitalize on that. And then, of course, they defend very well. Mm-hmm. They're very physical and they're disciplined about where they're supposed to be. So if they do get an early goal or an equalizing goal early in the match, then it's really a struggle for us the rest of the day.
Now another busy week ahead for your men, Coach. Final question for you. What can we kind of expect to see here this week for the Matador men's soccer team?
The men will travel to South Mountain, which is a team that's up and coming. They've got a new coach. They were ahead of Glendale on last Saturday, 1-0 with 20 minutes to go. So they're a quality team. Glendale ended up beating them, but So they've got a new coach, and they're just really making strides every week. And now they've got 4 or 5 games under the belt, so they're going to be a tough opponent. Paradise Valley, I believe, also has a new coach, so I don't know what they'll bring. I haven't looked at their results. I'm not sure. And then at Pima's always a tough game for our men's team. Traditionally, they're one of our toughest rivals, and they beat us last year at their place, so it's going to be a tough day.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this
Thank
week,
you.
and
Thank you,
hopefully we have a lot of fans out here for your match on Thursday.
I hope so. Hopefully it won't rain.
Yeah, hopefully not. All right, that was head coach of the men's and women's soccer team, Kenny Dale. It's time for us to take another break, but when we come back, I'll sit down with head volleyball coach Jason Smith. You're tuned in to the Bullring right here on AWC TV, Channel 74. Welcome back into the Bullring, everyone. Derek Diesner back with you, and it's now time to catch up with probably the coach that has the best team on campus right now. That'd be head volleyball coach Jason Smith. Coach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You are off to a tremendous start this season. Talk about how impressed you are with your squad.
Well, you know, it's 5 matches. Last week could have been the toughest week that we'd have all season. You know, we had Eastern. It's a huge rivalry. No matter what happens, no matter if we're good or they're bad and we're good or anything else, that's going to be a big match. And then to go into one of the toughest gyms in the entire conference, back-to-back nights, and get 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I knew when I scheduled that maybe we could split. And that we knew we had to go to Central twice this year, and getting a split was going to be good. But to get a sweep early in the season is just very good. But the biggest thing is just statistically how well our team is playing. We have 6 stats that we look at after every match. And even if we beat somebody, they may have beat themselves, and these stats won't let us off the hook.
Right.
So we're making about 4 or 5 goals out of 6 per night right now, and that's very exciting.
Now, let's talk about how this season started. Right here at home against Chandler Gilbert, you guys win 3 sets to nothing. You had to be leaving this court right here with the biggest smile on your face.
Well, actually, that was the night that we didn't make as many of our goals. Chandler beat themselves that night. They made a lot of errors and didn't give us a chance to really do very much. There was nothing to complain about that night, but we didn't have to play that hard.
Now, in that second match, you went on the road and take on Glendale, and that really seemed to spark this team. You played from behind, but this team stormed back and got a comeback victory on the road.
That was when we kind of started to galvanize as a team, because we should have won that in probably 3 or 4 games. We came out very flat, lost the first game 25-20, way too many hitting errors. Won the second game in a close one, should have been a lot bigger gap there. Should have won the third game, and then won. The biggest thing was in game 4 and 5. You know, our goal is to hit over 250. Game 4 and 5 at Glendale. Glendale will be better than some of the D1 teams this year. That's a very good team. We hit 350 and 390. So it just goes to show that they got focused on not that the match was tight, but what we actually need to pay attention to.
Now, another home match against Eastern Arizona last week. Nice win for your club. Now, let's talk about this past weekend. You touched on it a little bit, but Central Arizona, you go there, back-to-back matches over the weekend, and you win both of them 3-1.
Yeah.
Big weekend.
Big. And the way that I looked at it, we should have won them both in 3. We let down, obviously we're really bad in game 2 at Central, but you know, we're really good in the overall. So winning in both of those in 4 was very good for us. And you know, we didn't go to 5. We didn't give them a chance to sneak out a victory. We're a better team than Central right now. So the longer the match goes, the better, as far as the longer the points go. So when we're playing to 25 points, we have a good chance to win. If we go to game 5 and it's only to 15, then the upset can happen. So that's why we want to stay out of game 5 against most of these teams.
Now, to the fans that are tuned in right now, this volleyball team, 5-0 this season, they come home tomorrow night, Wednesday night, right here on this court to host Yavapai, and that is going to be a huge match. Give us a little preview.
Well, I don't know very much about Yavapai this year. You know, they have a brand new coach. I think he's doing some good things over there. But Yavapai beat Central, at Yavapai. So, you know, they may not be as good as Central, but they're a lot more confident right now. Confidence is a huge factor in 18 and 19-year-old young ladies. When they come in here thinking they can beat us, they can.
Now, after Yavapai, you guys are in for a long weekend. Thursday through Saturday, taking part in the Scottsdale Volleyball Classic. How many teams are going to be there, and what kind of do you expect?
There's a lot of teams there. We're going to play 4 matches, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. We're looking forward to just playing some different teams from our conference. We're going to put some different lineups in there and just try to see what some different people can do. If we happen to lose a match this weekend, which is definitely not a goal, but if we happen to lose a match this weekend, then we could, it's not going to hurt our conference record, it's not going to hurt our region record, and it's not going to hurt our, our opportunity to go to nationals. So we're going to look at some different things.
Now, before we let you go, Jason, again, a big match here tomorrow night. You've had some real nice crowds, and it seems whenever the football team is done with practice, they come in here and make a lot of noise. But why should some of these fans at home that are watching us right now, why should they come out here and watch this team?
To me, and I'm definitely a volleyball connoisseur, but this is the most exciting team we've had since I've been back here. They fly around the court. I mean, we've got our two Mexican girls, and I call them Aguilas del Oro because they're like the Golden Eagles. They're just flying all over the place. Maria Del Mar Franco is just been unbelievable for us so far in the middle. And our 2 outsides, Abby Noland and Amber Graham, have, both hitting over 250 on the season. And then Taylor Price, our returner, is hitting 321 on the season. This team is a lot of fun to watch, and they have a lot of fun on the court. It should be a fun environment for anyone in the gym.
All right. Well, you heard it from Coach. Better be out here Wednesday night cheering on your AWC Lady Matadors. Coach, thanks so much for your time and good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, you're tuned in to the Bullring right here on AWC TV. Well, that's going to do it, everyone, for this week's edition of the Bullring. A big thank you goes out to all of our coaches who joined us on the show. Head football coach Tom Minnick, head men's and women's soccer coach Kenny Dale, as well as head coach of your Lady Matador volleyball team, Jason Smith. Don't forget, we'll be back with you each and every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. right here on AWC TV. So make sure to join us then and get out and support Matador Athletics. I'm Derek Diesner saying so long. We'll see you next week, everyone.